So, Karl Marx society. What was the society as per the Karl Marx? Before reading, I will tell you that uh, mode of production is one of the important topics to understand this Karl Marx society. So you can go through my videos on my channel. You will find related to it. You can study that video also. Then you will better understand this society. Even in this video I will repeat those things again. Okay, so Karl Marx views society as being composed of two parts. He viewed society as he views as composed of two parts, that is base and superstructure. Okay, and the base will be the total productive organization of the society, and the superstructure will be the ideological element, that is base, and on that base different element will come and that will form the superstructure. Superstructure such as political institutions, laws, religion, kinship, and any analysis of society must begin with the base, because the superstructure is determined by the base. That any analysis of the society must begin with the base, because superstructure is determined by the base. Okay, because the base determines the superstructure completely. The way superstructure develops, it has to follow the guidelines but not completely as per the guidelines in reality. As suppose as type of cap being wear, it will depend upon the size of the head. Similarly, the kind of superstructure developed will depend upon the base. That let us suppose cap being wear by the person will depend upon the size of head. Similarly, the kind of superstructure development will depend on the base. Being economic structure, moral values, all other things, it will determine consciousness. Okay, superstructure develop in such a way to suit the mode of production. Role of base is restrictive and not prescriptive. Okay, being determines consciousness, like superstructure can influence the base. In the latter writing of Karl Marx, material needs are first, and the way these are met will determine the consciousness. And now he has talked about the dialectics unfold, that how everything such as social structure, moral, etc. get changes. So here he will talk about the force of production and the relationship of the production, that is FOP, of force of production and relationship of production. How both are interdependent on each other. Okay, in the society, that if something, like if you are producing something, the worker will be dependent upon that product, and then they will form a relationship with that product and will called be as a relationship of production. The forces of production are dynamic. That forces of production are dynamic. What kind of force I am talking about here? The force is technology. That technology is changing day by day, and as the technology changes, the relationship also change. Okay, so the forces of production are dynamic and relationship that tends to resist the change. So superstructure corresponds like like suppose son has joined a new company and it is first job and he want to buy a car. Okay, so his father will resist him to not buy the car as this is your first job. And why father word is very critical for him, why father word is very important for that, for his son, for that son, because they both have a relationship with each other. So buying a car by a son, the decision of that son will be handled by the relationship that he has with his father. Okay, so relationship will resist for certain changes, for making any changes. So let us suppose FOP, force of production, want to change into force of production 2, but for changing into force of production 2, it has to overcome with relationship of the production of the first one. Yeah, it has to overcome with the relationship of the production with the FOP. Okay, and if it overcome, then force of production 2 will have a new relationship of production with 2. Okay, so relationship of production will hinder to further development of FOP. So here what does it mean? Relationship of production will hinder, will be as a hindrance to further development of FOP, force of production. And if force of production want to change itself into FOP1, relationship of production, if force of production will force of production will want to change into force of production 2, so the relationship of production mean, that is first one, will be hindrance for it, will be a hurdle for it. So for development to a particular point by overcoming the hindrance will lead to a start revolution, and superstructure will change through revolution. So it means if you want to change a superstructure, if you want to change the superstructure, it will through revolution. Okay, so as trees grow, and none of them is noticing it, trees is growing, as that superstructure is growing, superstructure is coming. Similarly, the trees, that small tree will come as a big one. That tree was, and the tree's root was embedded with your house wall. What will happen at last? Your house wall will break. That revolution will come. Okay, same thing here it is talking about, that when you want to change, that resistance will come. Like suppose force of production is changed into force of production 2, and relationship of production was a hinder for it, let them, they made it able to change into relationship of production into 2. But again when force of production want to change into another modification, then again relationship of production will 2 will be hinder for them, and every time changes will be a hinder for them, and the worker will frustrate from it. So the revolution will start. So they revolt against that decision.